Today my audience is Jess, and I will be talking about should guns be legal in the United States. No amount of gun control will ever stop criminals from getting guns. They will always find a way. Criminals do illegal things all the time. This being said, though, I am now going to talk about the Second Amendment of the United States. This document was made a very long time ago. This being said, since this time, guns have advanced a significant amount since then. When the Constitution was made, people had pistols and single-shot rifles, and these citizens used these weapons to defend from a government takeover. That is what the Constitution protects. Today, people have military-grade assault rifles sitting in their homes for sport or anything like that. Weapons that can fire hundreds of thousands of rounds in just seconds and potentially kill hundreds and thousands of people. The Second Amendment wasn't made to protect the owning of these types of weapons. Given this information, no amount of restrictions will ever stop these criminals from getting their hands on guns. An example to emphasize this point is that Mexico has some of the strictest gun control laws, and this study was conducted in 2012 about whether the strict gun control laws had any impact on gun murders, and in 2012, Mexico had 11,309 gun murders compared to the United States, which had 9,146. To give you background on this study, Mexico only has one legal gun store and is on a secure military base, and the process to get a gun is a very strict process, but yet they have more gun murders than the United States. The question you might ask is, how is that possible? Just simply the point that criminals will find a way. They don't do things the legal way, so they're not going to use this legal gun store. They're going to open up illegal small gun shops and sell to other people. This idea that criminals will get guns regardless only puts those who obey the law at a disadvantage. These citizens now have no way to defend themselves and their families if we take away their guns. This being said, I don't think any regular person, aside from police and military and all that, should be able to purchase assault rifles. A study was conducted on state prison inmates who used, carried, or possessed a firearm when they committed the crime, and most said they obtained the gun from a family member or a friend. They didn't even have to go purchase the gun or go through the background checks. They simply just took the gun from a friend. They may have even been given the gun. Regardless of whether or not a weapon is obtained from a family member illegally or legally, I do believe there should be restrictions on the types of guns you can own. A regular person should not be able to purchase an assault rifle. Guns don't kill people, people kill people. More gun control is not needed. What is needed, though, is more education and gun safety lessons and laws. It's not about gun control. The problem is that people today are no longer taught to value life. My solution to this problem is to teach the children of this generation the value of life and how to respect others. People no longer have respect for others. While I do think that owning an assault rifle isn't necessary for people to have, I don't think we should ever take away guns from people. In order to fix this problem, we need to hit the problem at its source, and that is education on gun safety. if you take guns away from law-abiding citizens, you're only leaving them defenseless against criminals who will get guns regardless if they are legal or illegal. And that being said, police and military and all that can only protect you so much. If you have nothing to protect yourself, you are left defenseless. If there was more education on gun safety and the value of a life, and if people were taught to respect others, you would see less and less mass shootings. And another note with that is that in order to see less mass shootings, people need to take mental illness and even bullying more seriously, because these are other main causes of these mass shootings. In addition to all of this, I think it is important to incorporate common sense gun control. This is the process of background checks and working towards bans on assault weapons and high capacity magazines. No one could ever stop a potential mass shooter from shooting up a school or anything like that from an assault rifle, but you could stop somebody with a pistol, and they wouldn't be able to kill as many people as quickly as they do. So I ask, don't try and get rid of guns, simply make the world safer by educating and getting people to respect others and value life again. In the end, criminals will do illegal things, but what we as a society can do to protect ourselves is by eliminating assault rifles and high magazine capacity on these assault rifles and promote gun safety. These small steps will create a world where people aren't afraid to go out anymore and send their kids to school. A life is something that is very important, and some people take for granted their own life and the lives of others. But in the end, life is important, so act now to make the future a safer place. Thank you for listening. Have any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, what is your question?
What do you suggest as a way to avoid the wrong people getting a gun? Someone who has like a mental illness, for example.
I would say extensive background checks and even psychiatric evaluation of the person before they could ever get a gun, and make it a long, drawn-out process.
Do you think someone with a mental illness should be able to own a gun? Someone who, say, has documented depression or
I think
bipolar
that
disease?
if there's a test that is made to test the, I guess, mental capacity of a person, to see if they're in the right state of mind to own a gun and whether they would harm others or themselves, I think if you make a test that tests those categories, and it's something that rules people out, puts them on one end or the other, then I think if they pass through that, they should be able to. If they don't, then no.
So what if they take that exam, let's say while they're medicated, and then something goes on in their life, and then they stop taking their medication, and then their mental illness will be kind of in the way, and they'll be able to perform mass shooting? How do you avoid that?
I do not know.
Okay.
That's a good question.
Any way to avoid kids taking their parents' guns, for example?
Just not telling your kids where the guns are in the house, and having, I think anyone who owns a gun should have a safe. If you don't have a safe, you're just putting yourself at risk to have accidental gun deaths. Thank you for listening.